everybody, I'm Tom Vessel. Welcome to Week in Review. We do lots of videos on the Dice Tower each week, and lots of videos in general. And this is kind of just a short summary of what we've done, and kind of giving you quick ratings on the different games that we played. And then if you want to see the full thing, you click the links in the descriptions below. Here we go.
Hey everybody, Z Garcia here. Here's what I did last week. So I reviewed Lakshadweep, which I gave a 7 out of 10 to. This is a tile laying game for 2 players only. A really interesting one in which every tile is double-sided, and the features on it are going to be reversed for one player or the other based on you flipping over the tile. So if it has a purple house and some flowers in orange, on the other side it'll be the orange house and the flowers in purple. And you decide when you take the tile who you want to give what to. Really interesting, making island, scoring points. I liked it quite a bit, and it's a really interesting self-balancing game. I reviewed Wild Tiled West, which I gave a 7.5 to. This one is a very interesting polyomino style game with a lot going on. Many interesting things happening. I like the way in which the boards are going to develop. I like how deep the bench is here as far as replayability goes. You're going to have a lot of boards, a lot of different tiles, a lot of things you can score off of. And every one of those player boards you can flip over to the other side and has an alternate way to play. All of them different, so you can keep coming back to this one for a long time, it seems. I reviewed Seas of Havoc, which I give an 8 out of 10 to. And this one is a piratey deck building game with 2 distinct phases that both work really well. One, a worker placement phase, putting out your little workers, getting cards, new cards that go right into your hand, which I like, getting cannonballs and getting sailing and all these things. And then the second part, sailing around, playing cards, blowing each other away, scoring victory points. Really interesting mesh of 2 very distinct halves that work together very well. And if you're not, don't have an adverse reaction to confrontation, this is one I very much would recommend. Looks good, works well, really interesting game. I reviewed Unmatched, Brains, and Brawn, which I gave an 8.5 to. This is a final Marvel Unmatched set, and it brings out some heavy hitters. You got Spider-Man, you got Doctor Strange, you got She-Hulk. They all work very distinctly, with some of the characters in here being just fantastic. I love the way that they are able to take that personality of these characters, the things they are known for, and put them in the game. If you know Unmatched, you know there's quite a few set boxes for it. This is the final one for Unmatched. They're wrapping it up with this one, and I think it's a really good way to go out. This is one of the better sets in the Unmatched line, and in the Unmatched Marvel line specifically. And if you want some of the well-known characters, or you just want some really interesting, fun characters to play, this is a good one to pick up. I reviewed Expeditions, the follow-up to Scythe, and I gave that an 8.5 as well. This one scales down to 2 players and 3 players much better than I would say Scythe does. It's an enormous box, which is actually one of the detriments, and it takes up quite a bit of room on the board. But the turns are lightning fast, and I love the combos you can develop in this game. I also like the setting where they went with this one. This idea of it being in the same world as Scythe, the sort of alternate history 1920s, but now with a little bit more of a sci-fi flavor with these things that have fallen from space and you need to go and acquire these things. They have sort of mystical powers in a way. So I really enjoy it. It's got a little more of a focus on what's going on. It gets a little more personal. It zooms in a little bit on the world of Scythe, and it does so in a really captivating way. And then lastly, I reviewed World Wonders, which I gave a 9 out of 10 to. This is a fantastic tile-laying, polyomino, economic manipulation kind of game in which you are going to be developing your land, cleverly maneuvering where you can and cannot place tiles, and then the main attraction here, building world wonders, which are actually little wooden, creations. They're fantastic. They look amazing. Screen printed, so captivating on your board, so tempting sitting out there as something you can take. And the gameplay just feels lovely. It's smooth, it's interesting. It gives me a soup of a lot of different things that all just come together wonderfully. So World Wonders is one I think is going to be very well regarded, and I had an absolute blast with it. And there you go. That's it for me. I will see you on the next one.
I'm Joey Evans, and these are the games I reviewed this week. This is actually a pretty good week. I didn't do any stinkers here, so we got some pretty good games. So first game is Lakshadweep. It's from India, I believe, and I really like this game. I gave it a 7.5. It's a tile laying game. The other one is World Wonders. This was a fantastic game. Again, polyomino, and I gave that an 8.5. Really enjoyed that as well. Also, Wild Tiled West, which is polyomino again, and that we actually played live here on the channel. I enjoyed that a lot. That I gave an 8 to. Another one was Miniatures. It is Deep Rock Galactic, which is based on the video game. I have not played. Your dwarven miners get to mine around and stuff. Really enjoyed that. I gave that an 8. And then Expeditions, which was the new Scythe. I enjoyed this more than I enjoyed Scythe. This is the one I think you should check out if you like Scythe or if you don't, but I gave that a 9. And then my final review for the week was Unmatched, the last in their Marvel section of Unmatched, and that is Brains and Brawn with Spider-Man, She-Hulk, and Doctor Strange. Really enjoyed that. Probably my favorite in the Marvel series, or one of my favorite in the Unmatched series. I gave that a 9. So those are the ones I reviewed this week.
Hey everybody, this is Roy Kennedy. I'm back with another week in review. This week I took a look at Deep Rock Galactic. This is a dwarf mining game I played with, we did the review with Chris and Joey, and this is a game where you're trying to cooperatively go through different objectives. You're digging around a board, which is my favorite part of the game, is the fact that you roll a die and you can actually put out dirt tiles that actually allow you to kind of like dug your way through the walls, and sometimes you do have to go through the walls to reveal new locations that you can go to, and you're fighting off all these crazy bugs, and the miniatures are amazing. I gave it an 8, lots of fun. And then also we looked at Unmatched, Brains and Brawn. I love Spider-Man, I like She-Hulk, I love Doctor Strange. They're all really fun. I love the She-Hulk deck. But yeah, they're all really fun to play. They have lots of different asymmetrical powers. I love Unmatched. This is a 9 for me. I mean, I've given a lot of these Unmatched sets really high scores just because I enjoy the game so much, and they continue to deliver on the theme. And this is just really fun, playing Spider-Man, Spider Senses, She-Hulk smashing things really hard, Doctor Strange having all sorts of crazy cards and magical powers. It's fun to play. I love that game, so a 9. Well, that's what I took a look at this week.
Hey everyone, Chris here. This week I had a different week. I looked at 2 kind of combative thematic games. The first of which was Seas of Havoc. I gave a 7.5. It mixes deck building with a little bit of a worker placement phase beforehand, and then you move around and you shoot people. It's frivolous fun. It's not super strategic, but it's just enjoyable for what you're doing, playing out these cards and ramming into other people occasionally. So 7.5 for that. Next up, Deep Rock Galactic. This one really surprised me. I gave it an 8. I find this to be a lot of fun. Cooperative dwarves in space, mining, punching rocks, punching out bugs, blasting things with flamethrowers. It is what I would call a big dumb game, but it's charming, and it has a pretty simple rule set for how thematic and how engaging and cool it is. So if you want to cooperatively go around, punch things, roll lots of dice, but have a very solid game with some really solid decisions around it, Deep Rock Galactic, I gave an 8, and that's been my week.
This week I took a look at 2 different games. First of all, I took a look at Seas of Havoc, which I came in at an 8 for. This is going to be a combat game, and if you know that, and you like that, this is a really solid game. I don't typically like that, and I still like this game. To me, that really speaks to the strong mechanisms behind it. It goes a little bit of deck building. I really enjoy the market phase. Then you go out to the sea, and you get to shoot each other up, and it's just a lot of fun. It's kind of like a heavier King of Tokyo to me, if you will. And I really enjoyed it. Seas of Havoc is an 8. Also took a look at World Wonders. Really liked this game. Came in at an 8.5 on it, giving it a seal of excellence. I think it's a great marriage of a lot of little things that I like. I really like the polyomino aspects. I really like playing with the buildings. I think it's a lot of fun and intention that comes with trying to decide how you're going to use your very limited options per round. So World Wonders, I was an 8.5.
Okay, well for me, Wild Tiled West, I gave that an 8 from Dire Wolf. Really like this. A polyomino playing game with a really fun Western theme. I enjoyed this one. Lakshadweep. This is a 2-player tile laying game. I also gave this one an 8. Back and forth where you can flip the tile and it changes what the orange player has, what the purple player has. I thought it was a really neat idea. Then I reviewed Seas of Havoc. This is an 8.5 for me. This pirate deck building worker placement game. Very short, but just so much fun being a pirate. And then Expeditions. This is the follow-up to Scythe, the card game. But it doesn't really feel much like Scythe, but it's an engine-building card game, and I just found it to be a lot of fun. Another 8.5. And then World Wonders. This game coming soon from Arcane Wonders. Man, it looks gorgeous. Placing out polyominoes, putting out wooden wonders of the world. It just really, really fantastic game. 9. Great week. But lest you think that I am all positive, I also did a roundup so you can watch there's several games I put in there that have much lower ratings than that. I also talked about a disaster happening in my Aeon Trespass Odyssey campaign. And we did our me, Mike, and Z did our top 10 games we wished existed when we were teenagers. And then the top 100s have been going up all week from the different folks in Dice Tower. They're finishing the bottom 50. So the games are just getting better and better. And then our live shows. Also, if you missed it, last week in Board Game Breakfast, I announced some major changes to how we're doing videos on the Dice Tower. So you'll definitely want to check that out. All right, well, that's it here. Thanks for watching Week in Review. I'm Tom Vassell. We'll see you next time.